How's it going, guys? My name is Zach with the Movie Castle, and today we're going to be talking about Flesh and Blood. This is from November 2018 and is the second entry in Into the Dark. Into the Dark was Blumhouse Television putting out a new movie every single month for Hulu. If any studio could do that, it would be Blumhouse. A new movie every single month, quite an ambitious project, and they did it for 2 years. Now this is the November release from their first year. Because of the whole monthly thing, a lot of them were themed to holidays from that month. So this is the November release. It is obviously going to be about Thanksgiving, although that being said, this is one of the looser tie-ins. I mean, yeah, it is taking place around Thanksgiving. It's more of just a thriller, though. Anyway, this is directed by Patrick Lussier, who you guys might know for Drive Angry, which was a really good, underrated grindhouse throwback movie with Nicolas Cage, which always makes it better. He also directed a slasher movie called Trick that took place around Halloween. A pretty good slasher. I think you got Tom Atkins in that one. He also did a lot of editing work. Edited H2O, so that's pretty cool. Anyway, this movie stars Dermot Mulroney, Diana Sicvers, and Tembi Locke. And this movie is about an agoraphobic girl who begins to suspect that her father is a murderer. And you get a bunch of thriller tension. You know, she can't really get out when things heat up. How does she move and hide through the house, and how does she solve the mystery? Yeah, I noticed that quite recently, agoraphobic characters that are afraid to leave their house, there's been quite a few movies about them as of late, so I guess it's a new trend. And overall, this movie isn't the best thing ever, but it is totally passable. It is fine. I've seen concepts like this done better. Like I just said, there's a ton of agoraphobic movies out there, but also, you know, you watch like a Hitchcock movie and you'll get this sort of cat and mouse game. Again, done way better. It's still fine though, but I have to say, out of Patrick Lussier's work, I've liked his other stuff that I've seen way better than this. But I feel that this is a good kind of lazy Sunday afternoon movie. There's something about stuff like this where it hooks you in just enough, and you do want to see where it's going. It's not super big of an investment. It's not a big, important movie. So if you want to just sit down and watch a movie that will keep your attention and, you know, keep you entertained, again, what I like to refer to as lazy Sunday afternoon movies. But the problems, first of all, the suspension. You know, this girl is wondering if her father is a killer, and that should be a big, tough choice. It's your father. Whenever you think of doing something decisive, that should be in the back of your head. Maybe he is, maybe he's not. It should be a tough decision, but here it's pretty heavy-handed. And it's like he's acting normal for the most part up until the daughter begins to suspect him. And when the daughter begins to suspect him, he goes a little too crazy, a little too quick. And then whenever they try to return it to a sense of normalcy, it does feel quite a bit forced. And I really wish, you know, it was more mysterious, you know? Have him do things where you suspect but you're not sure, and have you kind of wonder. But throughout this movie, thinking it's not him is more because it's too obvious, you know? It's not really anything the movie does that implies it might not be him. You just, in the back of your head, go, okay, this is too obvious. It's got to have some sort of twist behind it, right? So it's more the audience doing that work than the movie. But yeah, way too on the nose, and subtlety would have been better. But that being said, if they are going to go extreme, I really wish he could have got... I really wish Lussier could have gotten Nicolas Cage back he would have been a much better lead going this over the top. But anyway, the cat and mouse game here, it's done okay as well. The fact that she can't leave the house, so if she wants to run and hide, she has to go through the house. And there's things like an attic with like 2 different entrances and like little pathways in the walls and then below the house as well. And that stuff is interesting. And, you know, trying to solve the mystery, figuring things out. There is a little bit of mystery here, but again, I really wish it was a lot more. I really wish this movie was more clever and had more twists and turns behind it, but it does enough, so it's okay. So yeah, despite that the villain character is really on the nose, and despite that it's not so super clever, it's still passable. It does enough to hook you in. It's not great, but as a casual watch, it's good for those type of days. You know, this is a Thanksgiving movie, so if you guys have like the week off for Thanksgiving, find yourself with a bunch of free time and want to kill it for a little bit, this is a good enough way to do it. I guess to analyze it further, let's talk a little bit more about the plot. I'm not going to be doing any major spoilers, but I do want to analyze the plot a little bit, and as we go through, we can see the movie's strengths and weaknesses. We open up with the previous year, and the family is having a happy Thanksgiving, and the dad does a little bit of an on-the-nose line to his wife and daughter. I don't know what I would do if I ever lost you two. Feels a little bit like you're tempting fate there. But anyway, this was the last happy holiday for them. We cut to about a year later, and the mother has been murdered. No one knows who killed her. The daughter has since developed a sense of terror for the outside world. She is agoraphobic and won't leave the house. And the dad is constantly obsessed with restoring the house. He's doing a bunch of home improvement, and the house is always a little bit under construction. That's a really cool element with the film that I wish they had done more of. You know, you could have like an open wall that he had torn down and it's just a skeleton. You could, you know, go between the walls or something. You know, they could have done a whole lot. Or if this movie had taken place over a longer course of time, you could see like the layout of the house change. That would be interesting, but it's fine the way it is. She also has an agoraphobic chat room where she can talk to friends with similar problems, and it sadly doesn't come up too much. Because, I mean, you know, the idea that you can't go outside and in turn you turn to the internet and talk to people, well, a lot of us live that life in 2020. It could have really been like, you know, online people she doesn't know in real life helping her solve this mystery. But they just get a couple scenes, and again, that's another underutilized element in this plot. You also get the therapist, which is a good enough character, but they pretty much use her to explain further plot elements. You know, the therapist will come in, and in the therapy, she'll say, "It's been almost a year. Thanksgiving was the last holiday you and your family had together. You know they never caught the murder. Is that playing into your anxiety there?" And in turn, the therapist just kind of explains major plot points, and that's pretty much what they use her character for. But anyway, we get to her birthday. The movie essentially covers her birthday in early November, all the way up through Thanksgiving time. So this is also a birthday horror movie, I guess you could say. But for her birthday, she gets this necklace, and she's watching TV home alone, and she realizes that the necklace she wears is very similar to a necklace from a missing girl, and she begins to suspect that her father's really the killer. Now, I do want to say, in real life, it would probably just be these necklaces are mass-produced and both their fathers shopped at the same store, but here is when she begins to suspect. Now, I do want to say, this is about the ending of the first act when this pops up, and I was glad to see where this movie was actually going. I just kind of threw this on. Thanksgiving, Blumhouse, Patrick Lussier, yeah, I'll watch it. And I had a vague kind of sense of where this might be going, but like the first third, the dad's acting really, really normal. And I was like, did Blumhouse make some weird drama movie or something? What's going on here? You know, it didn't have too much horror in the beginning third of this movie until you get to the part where the dad finally comes in. It gets a bit more interesting because, you know, something is happening. But yeah, the first third, not really too much happens. And I wish they had the dad do some, like, subtle faux pas to make the audience uneasy around him. But he just is relatively, you know, not too bad. Maybe on second watch I could pick up more stuff. Again, I didn't know what this movie was going to be about going in. But yeah, I was like, okay, so finally, with this necklace, something's happening. And they do expand on the necklace a little bit more. She gets really close to the TV and sees that both their necklaces have the same blemish, so it's more likely they're the same. And she uses the blemish as an excuse, like, hey, Dad, can you return this? Because if he had just bought it, he would be able to return it, right? And he kind of plays that off of, oh no, it was the last one the store had, honey, I can't get you another one. And he does a decent amount of, like, playing creepy things off, and that really would work if, in general, he wasn't just so creepy and on the nose. He does have a lot of plausible excuses, and I, again, really wish they had made it more of a mystery if he was going to be evil or not. But anyway, after that, he gets really scary really quick, and he does do a bit of over-the-top stuff. They even do that whole Shining shot where he's pressing on the door and the camera's down below in a door frame. And I can't help but feel, like I said earlier, the cat and mouse is okay, but there's a few times where I feel that if the daughter was just a little more aggressive, she could have got out earlier. Like, there's a scene with the cops that if she was just a little more aggressive, this movie would have been about 40 minutes long, and that would have been an excuse if the father wasn't so on the nose. You know, if it was more subtle, you wouldn't act aggressively, you know, you would play it more careful, thinking, this is your dad, I don't want to screw my dad over, because what if he didn't do it? And if they had played him more subtle for most of the movie, that would have been more plausible. But yeah, whatever. And I kind of feel like I asked myself, if I was making a movie and I had the killer be really obvious, what would I do? And I honestly think the best solution for this would be to just come out and say it and have the audience in suspense because the other characters don't know, you know? Have the suspense going that way. Oh, the daughter doesn't know the father's a killer. Just show from the beginning. Just come out, because if it's a bad mystery, why even have the mystery? You know, just show us from the beginning. But yeah, like I said, the biggest thing saying that he wouldn't be is just the audience going, it can't be that obvious, can it? Few other minor complaints. The attic is a cool set, and they have it where, like, old Christmas lights and a plastic Halloween jack-o'-lantern are lighting it up. But that is a little bit implausible that they would just leave these things going all year long just as a light for the attic. And also, when she's in the attic, she does step and make a hole through the attic floor, but she steps on a board and not raw insulation. How rotten was that board that it would just break underfoot like that? Okay, I don't want to do any more little gripes, but those are just two things that I had to point out. Overall, it's fine. Again, totally has these big flaws with it, but because it has just enough mystery, It's just enough to keep you watching. Not a great movie, but a good way to kill some time, especially over a long Thanksgiving holiday. If you got free time, if you just want to relax and put a movie on, this is okay for that. But yeah, I would definitely recommend Drive Angry way more than this one. But still, it's okay. Anyway, to everyone who's watched so far, thank you for watching. To everyone who's liked and subscribed, thank you. You really are helping the channel out. I'll leave a relevant playlist on the bottom. This will probably be my holiday horror playlist, where I cover horror movies that take place around the holidays. Okay, some of them are just regular holiday movies, but mostly horror. You can find my reviews for the Into the Dark Halloween ones in there as well. I covered those two, and I'll probably try to cover more of them as time goes on. Anyway, have a good day. I'll see you guys again very, very soon. Holiday playlist on the bottom. Have a good day now.